Welcome back to AM Northwest. It's time to ditch the diet and rethink your relationship with food. And here with some ways to change your mindset, we welcome the author of Deprogram Diet Culture, Dr. Supatra Tovar. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. So what is diet culture and how did we really learn it?
Oh, diet culture, well, it has basically evolved over the years, but it is based off of two very distinct biases. One is lookism, or the unhealthy pursuit of the thin ideal,
Yeah,
and the other bias is weightism, or fat shaming and fat phobia. So we're constantly told that we need to be this perfect, thin, almost emaciated at this point
yeah.
ideal. Otherwise, we're going to get ridiculed for being overweight or for being obese. And so it's a multi-billion dollar industry that is fueled by our fears and our wishes and desires to conform to this ideal.
But is it conforming because you'll hear people say thinner is healthier than fat?
Well, I think that that's a misconception. A lot of people can be very unhealthy if they're thin, and people can be very healthy if they're considered overweight
Right.
or obese. And so I think it's so important that we open up our view of what is actually healthy and what is not. And we learn how to distinguish true health, which can be certain markers like, our blood glucose, it can be our heart health, it can be other markers rather than what's physically on the outside.
How do we deprogram our thinking about this?
Well, I have 3 steps that we can
Okay.
employ that gets you on the road.
All
And
right.
when I say the road, I mean the destination is to learn how to truly listen to ourselves
Sure.
and no one else. The first thing that I think people should do is to deprogram their social media feed. It's often filled with content that makes us feel bad about ourselves. It's filled with ads that tell us that we're not good enough. And what I encourage people to do is hide, block, or unfollow anyone or anything that makes them feel less than worthy. And then to reprogram their feed with content that's uplifting and inspiring and helps them become healthier in all ways. The second tip, it's along with the first one, but it's to stop watching advertisements if at all possible, or to do something else when they see advertisements. Advertisements are very manipulative and designed to make us feel like we're less than we
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
and then make us buy what we don't need. And so I encourage people, take up a hobby. If there's a commercial break coming on, learn how to knit, learn how to sew, do something, play an instrument, anything that enriches you. The third step is a little harder, and that is to really look at the relationships around you and to note if you have any toxic relationships, people who are encouraging you to diet, people who are telling you you need to lose weight or to over exercise. Create some boundaries around these people. They probably mean well, or they may be struggling themselves. So we have to look at that compassionately, but gravitate toward the people who actually uplift you, who are positive, who make you feel good and encourage you along this route. And that way you can then go into the very loving business of learning how to tune into yourself and
Yeah.
your body. And that's how you can kick diet culture to the curb forever.
One of the things too that I find challenging is when you get together with certain groups of girlfriends, the talk almost always leads to what we're eating, and how we're staying away from the carbs and how we're doing this, and it is, first of all, it's very boring diet talk,
Mhm.
but it
Yeah.
seems to be what women talk about a lot. I just wanted to
Yes.
bring that up to you. And then the other thing I notice is when you look at American movies, the women
Mhm.
are extremely thin and
Yeah.
absolutely stunningly model-like, but you watch a movie from another country and it's a different look.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is what we're facing. This is diet culture, and I think in our country, it's so pervasive that you will have conversations with girlfriends around what are good foods or what are bad foods, what are they restricting,
Right.
how are they dieting, how are they exercising. I encourage people to create some boundaries during those conversations, saying, I'd rather not talk about food and dieting or changing the subject or making a funny joke, steering the conversation away towards things that are more enriching. How are your kids doing?
Right, right.
What's happening at your work? You can really model for them too healthy eating at the table. You can show them that you can order the carbs because our bodies love carbs, by the way. We are designed to live off of mostly carbs. We can have the carbs at our meal, eat slowly and mindfully. We can show them that we're actually enjoying our food. And this helps teach them that they are able to do this as well. And I tell you what, when we do this, it is the most freeing, happy process being with our food mindfully. It means you can eat what you want when you want, especially when you're listening to your body.
Absolutely. We want to tell everyone the book is called Deprogram Diet Culture. Dr. Supatra Tovar, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest.